The breaking point. Anita, the love of my life, was the best gift I ever thought I'd received. Our union seemed perfect, but unbeknownst to me, a subtle crack had begun to form. My mistake was not recognizing the importance of effective communication. Unbeknownst to me, Anita had been silently struggling with an undisclosed illness, hiding her pain behind a mask of love and devotion. As time passed, Anita's smile began to fade, and her laughter became a rare melody. I was oblivious to the turmoil brewing inside her. Her eyes, once bright and full of life, now seemed dull and lifeless. The illness she hid from me was slowly consuming her, and I was too engrossed in my own world to notice. Anita craved emotional support and understanding, but I failed to provide it. Her needs were simple: a listening ear, a comforting embrace, and reassurance that she wasn't alone. But I was distant, preoccupied with my own struggles and insecurities, neglected her emotional pleas, dismissing her concerns with hollow reassurances. "You'll be fine," I'd say, without truly hearing her. "It's just stress," I'd rationalize, without taking the time to understand. Her love language was quality time and affection, but I spoke only in gestures, not words. I showed my love through gifts and practicality, not emotional intimacy. Anita felt unseen, unheard, and unappreciated. As her illness worsened, Anita's emotional pain deepened. She felt isolated, like a flower wilting in the shadows. Her self-worth withered, and she began to doubt her own strength. The love that once flourished between us began to fade, replaced by resentment and hurt. One day, Anita's silence spoke louder than words. She stood before me, her eyes brimming with tears, and whispered, "I feel so alone in this relationship." It was a cry for help, a desperate plea to bridge the gap between us. But I didn't hear it, not truly, until it was almost too late. Anita's breaking point. Anita's whispered words, "I feel so alone in this relationship," hung in the air like a challenge. Stephen didn't grasp the depth of her despair. The silence that followed was oppressive, a weight that crushed Anita's fragile heart. One fateful night, Anita packed her bags, her movements mechanical, her eyes dry. She stood before Stephen, her voice barely above a whisper. "I can't do this anymore. I need someone who sees me, hears me, and holds me. You're so consumed by your own world that you've forgotten I exist." Stephen's eyes widened as reality slapped him awake. He realized too late that his neglect had pushed Anita to the edge. Stephen's awakening. As Anita walked out, Stephen felt the earth crumble beneath him. He was left with an eerie silence, forcing him to confront the damage he'd done. He wandered their empty home, haunted by memories of laughter and whispers. Stephen began to grasp the gravity of his mistakes. He'd taken Anita's love for granted, assuming it would always be there. He'd neglected her emotional needs, dismissing her pleas for connection. With a heavy heart, Stephen reached out to Anita, begging her to stay. But she needed space, time to heal and reflect. The journey to redemption. Stephen embarked on a quest to rediscover Anita's love. He devoured self-help books, attended therapy sessions, and joined support groups. He learned about emotional intelligence, active listening, and empathy. He wrote heartfelt letters, expressing his regret and commitment to change. He sent small gifts, symbolizing his desire to reconnect. Stephen's transformation wasn't overnight, but Anita began to notice. She saw sincerity in his eyes, heard compassion in his voice. A dramatic turn. One stormy night, Anita's car broke down on the highway. Stephen, frantic with worry, rushed to her side. As they huddled together, waiting for help, the tempest outside mirrored the turmoil within. In that moment, Stephen held Anita close, feeling her tremble with fear and cold. He whispered apologies, promises, and affirmations,